Thank you for joining us today for making the Thanksgiving meal. Thanksgiving is a very special time when we come together to thank God, family, and friends. And I invited my friend Davy that she will cook the meal with me. And this will be a wonderful way to connect.
Hello. You know, for vegetarians, Thanksgiving often presents a problem. So we've created a beautiful vegetarian menu for you today. And I'll be preparing nut loaf and mashed potatoes and homemade cranberry sauce. And what are you going to make, Diksha?
I will be making baked yams and cashew gravy and green beans with vinaigrette. And I already made pumpkin pie, and this pumpkin pie is gluten, dairy, and sugar free. Can you believe
Wow.
this?
I'm excited.
And I will give you the recipe. It's very easy to make, and on our online material you can have that recipe. So before we start cooking, we would like to center and pray. Beloved God, bless us. We'd like to thank you for all thy gifts, but most of all, we'd like to thank you for thy love. Bless us, flow through us, and may the food that we make be filled with your joy. Om, peace, amen.
So our first recipe today is going to be our Ananda Nut Loaf. And this is something that we've made for many years at our Thanksgiving celebrations here. And all of our recipes today that we'll be preparing will serve from 6 to 8 people. So obviously, if you want to have a bigger Thanksgiving festivities, you multiply them out. So the ingredients that we'll be using today, we'll start with sauteing. We have about 2.5 large onions chopped very beautifully, and about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. And we'll be sauteing these in some sunflower oil in this lovely frying pan. And while they're sauteing, getting a nice translucent color, we'll be mixing the dry ingredients, which are 3 cups of fresh whole wheat breadcrumbs, 1 cup of ground walnuts, if you can get organic, all the better, 1 cup of finely chopped walnuts, but this is more of a consistency of a nut butter, and this has more texture, 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/2 cup of tomato juice, and 2 tablespoons of tamari. We're going to be mixing all these together while our onions and garlic are sauteing. And while we're doing this, Diksha will be helping each other through all of this. She'll be mixing wet ingredients. So she'll be beating 2 eggs, adding 1 cup of packed grated cheddar cheese, 3/4 cup of finely minced parsley. Again, if you can get organic, all the better. And then salt and pepper to taste. We've used 1 teaspoon of salt and about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, but you can play with this. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start by using our sunflower oil, and the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, but you can just estimate there. And this is Diksha's kitchen, so I hope I'm not quite sure how the oven works, but we'll do our best here.
Maybe I can help you?
Okay, help me. That would be great, Diksha.
I think this might, sometimes
There.
it doesn't always need the lighter.
Okay, so we'll get that. We want it on a medium heat.
So the medium is lower.
Oh, the medium is lower. Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. We don't want the onions to cook too quickly. If you cook your onions slowly, they get a nice, it brings out the sweetness actually. So we're going to add our onions here to the frying pan. There's nothing like the smell of onions cooking in a kitchen. It always makes it seem like you're a great chef
I
if you
can
just
take this.
saute onions. And here we're adding our finely minced garlic, about 3 cloves. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Diksha. And we want to mix these all around so they're all coated with the oil. And the garlic and the onions are evenly distributed. Okay, and we'll put our cover on and let that get to, as we said, a nice translucency. Meanwhile,
You need this?
yeah, we're going to add all these wonderful dry ingredients.
Okay.
So we're going to start with our whole wheat breadcrumbs. And you know how you make them. You just break up pieces of whole wheat bread and blend it in a blender. And you don't want it to go too much because then it kind of gets all clotted together. These are just perfect. Okay. Then we add our nice ground walnuts. And so nice cooking with a friend. Got 4 pairs of hands here. And then our chopped walnuts. Oh, there you go. And our nutritional yeast. If you've not cooked with nutritional yeast, it's, as I said earlier, it's a wonderful source of B vitamins for vegetarians, but it also gives a very nice flavor. It's hard to describe. It's a little bit nutty, but it gives kind of a nice, rich under flavor to dishes you add it to. You can sprinkle it on rice, sprinkle it on salads. And I hear my onions kind of starting to cook here, so I'm going to take a minute off to make sure that they're not cooking too quickly. They look beautiful. You know, we should also say with this nut loaf, you can never make too much. It always gets eaten, and then you can also slice it and use it for cold sandwiches. It's wonderful that way. So we're going to add the tomato juice now. Just pour it all around. And the tamari. And then this part is we're going to mix up all these ingredients to a nice, even consistency. Meanwhile, while I'm doing that,
Let's start on that?
yes,
Okay. I'm just going to beat the eggs. First, I'm going to open them. Two eggs. So this is enough?
that looks great.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that doesn't have to be.
Add the salt and the pepper. Just a little bit more here. And the pepper. Okay. Do you have a preference? Shall I add this first or the parsley? The cheddar cheese?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and add that. I don't
Okay.
think it makes a lot of difference. The recipe
Okay.
is listed in that order. So,
Okay.
and as you can see, it takes a lot of mixing to get this nice and consistent with this part of it. This is a very good meat substitute. When I go to, if I'm not having Thanksgiving here with my vegetarian friends, if I'm visiting family or friends who have the traditional turkey, I always just bring my own little nut loaf and
Great idea.
and then there we are. And even the turkey eaters want a little piece of the nut loaf too.
So I think this is ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now
So
we're
I
getting
give
real
it to
close.
you. Move this.
Now, Diksha, why don't you just you can start mixing those together.
Mix this.
Yeah, mix the
Okay.
two together, and I'll keep. We want the onions to. They're not quite done yet.
Okay. All right. This here.
We've done this recipe just for one loaf pan full, but actually when I make it at home, I usually double it and make 2 because it freezes very, very well. You slice it, you freeze it, and
That's
then you
great.
can thaw it out. And if you're having some guests over, you know, unexpectedly, you have a great dinner already made.
So
that looks great.
is this
Diksha.
good?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's beautiful. Okay, so these I think we should let them go just a little bit longer. So maybe while they're still sauteing, you can
Good
start
idea.
the next.
And just to tell you, we turn already the oven on to 350 degrees for the nut loaf. So here are the yams. I'm gonna peel 4 yams, and then I'm gonna cut them into about 1 inch round. And Davey just brought me this great peeler. You wanna say anything about it?
I was in a cooking store.
Okay, I think he did it wrong. Her husband, he brought it for me, and he adjusted for a person with left hand, but I think this is for the right hand, so I have to do it the opposite way, but it is great peeler.
Just for your information, I was in a cooking store, and I asked the man who owned it and ran it was a cordon bleu chef, and I just said, "What's the best peeler?" And he got a big smile on his face, and he said, the brand is Westmark, and it gives it. Can you tell how nice it is?
It's very smooth. It's
you
really
just get
nice.
a very thin peel, so you're not losing a lot of the whatever you're peeling, carrot
It's
or
true.
potato.
It's
or,
a very thin
yeah.
layer when the way it peels it. Okay, so this is
Beautiful.
one. So how do you want the onion to be? Do they need to be golden or just
Not
translucent?
golden. No, you just want your onions translucent. And if onions have too strong a flavor for you, you can use these nice Vidalia sweet onions, or there's a new Maui onion I've seen in grocery stores that have a wonderful sweet flavor. And if you prefer that, you can do that. Okay, while Diksha is finishing that, I'm going to just put this in the sink here. It's hot. We're going to assemble our nut loaf. It's all ready. Our onions are beautiful. They're nice and translucent, if you can see them. And it's the final step. We're going to mix them into the mixing bowl, which has our breadcrumbs and ground nuts and chopped nuts and cheese and parsley and tomato juice, salt and pepper, nutritional yeast, tamari, all of those things are in this. Okay, so now we're going to mix this up and get it nice and consistent. And this is one of, as I said, one of the favorite recipes from our wonderful Ananda cooks. And you can see as we mix it, first it seems like it's a lot of onions in there, but as you mix it and as it bakes down, the onions kind of dissolve into it, and you have a wonderful nut loaf that's very, very satisfying. And this is our, as you know, this is our Thanksgiving meal, but you can really make this any time of year for a special occasion. And kids love it. You know, sometimes it's, if you have some friends over, your children's friends are over who aren't vegetarians and they're not quite sure, if you give them some of this, they won't, no questions asked. Okay, so you see how it almost makes like a nice pate here. And now we have a loaf pan. We're using Pyrex today, a tinted glass Pyrex. And you have to oil your pan. We've already done that before we started. We get a little bit ahead of the game. And our oven is already preheated at 350 degrees. And now we're going to just move all of this. Diksha, you all done?
I'm all done.
Oh, great. So as soon as we get this all in here, and you know what? I'm going to just use my hands. My hands are clean.
I do that too.
And we're going to just put all this in there. And you need to kind of really press it down. Get it all in there. And then this usually bakes for 1 hour, but it's good to check it after 45 minutes just to make sure it's not getting too dry. And we're going to just get all of this in there. Diksha, you want to put
Yes.
the rest of that in now because my hands have gotten to the point where
Yeah.
they're goopy.
There you go.
Wonderful.
A little bit more.
Get it nice and even. And so we're going to bake this. We'll check after 45 minutes, and then we're going to top it. We'll take it out, and you put cheddar cheese on it, another half a cup, and then you bake that till it gets nice and bubbly. Now, Diksha, you want to put that in the oven?
Yes, it's beautiful. This is our nut loaf before it's baked. Open this. You put it right in the middle?
Middle
again?
is great.
Okay, great.
Middle rack, middle of the oven.
Okay.
Okay, and you want to set our timer?
Yep.
So we've got it for 45 minutes, and
And
if
I'm
it's
gonna
not
start.
quite done, we'll keep it going. Okay.
So now the yams being peeled, and I'm going to cut them to about 1 inch rounds.
Are these organic?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, and this is the last one. We'll put this in the bowl. Thank you.
It's so wonderful how you can get organic produce almost everywhere now.
Yes, it's incredible. Okay. And we'll bake them. After we'll coat them, and I will tell them in a minute what we're going to do. Let me first cut the yams. Okay.
Beautiful.
So we're going to coat them with 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. Coconut oil goes very well with yams. I'm going to add ginger juice, 2 tablespoons, and 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, which the combination with the fresh and the dry is really good, especially, and this is 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Wow.
So this whole combination is going to be really nice.
Wow.
So I'm going to put it in the bowl first. This is organic coconut oil, maple syrup, ginger juice, and ginger powder.
Beautiful. Shall I get you the tray?
Yes,
Okay.
mix them nicely together. And I will pour it. I'll just put this back, thank you. And I like to work with my hands. And just coat them. I can see that the coconut is got a little bit, it's not fully melted, but it's fine. It will melt as it bakes. So here, put this.
And have you lined this baking pan?
Yes, I cut the parchment paper, which makes it much easier to clean.
You can just see.
It smells.
It smells like perfume.
Yeah. Usually I bake it in 375 degrees, but because the nut loaf is baking at 350, I will bake it at 350. And it just will take a little bit longer, and probably halfway through, I will turn the yams, especially the bigger pieces.
So you turn them over?
Mm-hmm. Oh. So the bottom and the top will have a little bit of a crust, which makes it softer. Inside it's much softer. The outside is a little bit, has a nice crust to it. Here we are.
It looks like there's going to be some leftover topping. Can you use that for something else?
Actually, I'm going to pour it on top.
There's so much to learn about cooking.
Okay. Just leave nice coating. Now, it really depends on the size of the yams. Sometimes you'll have a little bit leftovers and you can just pour a little bit more. The yams are bigger, you won't have any. Okay, I think we are done.
Beautiful.
So, Davy, would you mind putting it in the
so
oven?
Good. So this is what it looks like. And we're going to put it on the top shelf?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. And our nut loaf is looking beautiful.
So now it's about half hour left, and after half hour, we'll check both the nut loaf and the yam. So this was a perfect timing.
Great. Hi, well, we're back again, and we have about 42 seconds left to start taking things out of the oven. I'm going to start by taking the nut loaf out, which looks absolutely beautiful. And we're going to top it with another half a cup of grated cheddar cheese. You can use other kind of cheese if you like, but cheddar has a nice flavor. And then we'll put it back in the oven for 10 more minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. And what are you going to do, Diksha?
I'm going to pull out the yams. I'm going to check them, make sure that, see if they're soft, and see if I need to turn them around and then maybe put them back in the oven.
Okay, well, here we go.
It's there.
Yeah, our timer's, okay, time to start. So, oh, it looks beautiful.
You want to take that?
Yeah, I think I better use two.
It's hot.
It's hot. So here's our beautiful nut loaf. And we'll start, I'm going to give you these so you can use. Oh, I'm going to need them again because I'm going to put them back in.
Oh, that's right.
So then we're going to just sprinkle this half a cup of cheese. I want to be careful so it doesn't get over on the side. And we're going to, these last 10 minutes, you get a nice cheesy crust. Rich. And as I say, you can use other cheese if you like.
So if you're not, if you don't,
Non-dairy?
yeah.
Non-dairy.
So you can avoid that?
You can just leave that out. Yeah.
Okay.
The cheese is,
Great.
it gives it a certain flavor, but you don't have to have it if you're trying to do a dairy-free. Okay, now we're going to put this back in. And I'm going to hand these over to Diksha.
Okay. Here we go. It's a big operation here. Looks great. Can you
I'll
close this
the oven.
after me?
Oh, how beautiful.
Okay.
that looks.
So you can see the yams. Smells wonderful. The coconut oil adds a lot. So they still need way to go. I'm going to turn them around.
While she's doing that, I'm resetting our timer for 10 minutes.
Use this to help me, see if I need it. It's because I used the 350 compensating with the nut loaf. So the smaller one a little bit softer. Gonna do first the round one, and the ends I will do the last. Okay, let's see. It's a little bit trickier. It's gonna slip. Okay, here we go.
Diksha, what about
Yeah.
setting the oven up now for the second baking of this? Set it up to 375.
Is this not gonna burn the
No,
the
because it's not in
cheese?
very long.
Oh, that's fine. That's
Okay.
great. So that will make it faster. I will do that. Thank you. It's a good point. Put this, put it in. All right. All right. So I'll turn this higher. 75.
Perfect. Okay. Now we have, how much longer do the yams have to cook?
I don't know. We'll have to check them in 10 minutes and then we'll see.
Okay. Okay, well, we have just 20 seconds left. Our nut loaf has been baking for that last 10 minutes. The cheese, the cheddar cheese is melted. It's nice and bubbly. We're going to take it out, set it aside. Then we're going to start on 2 new recipes, a festive cranberry sauce, and then Diksha's going to do a wonderful cashew gravy. Oh, there's our timer. Okay, so out comes the nut loaf. This will be our main course.
Wow, looks wonderful.
Shut the oven, Diksha.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so there you see, beautiful. And we'll let that cool a little bit. And now the next thing we'll do, Diksha, can you help me light that?
Before we do that, the yams, we realized that they need a little bit longer. And so I set it for, what do you say, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now we'll start.
I can take this.
Okay, on our cranberry sauce. And this is it's unusual. This is we call it a festive cranberry salad. And the first step, and we'll go into more detail later, but you add 1 cup of water, and then 12 ounces of beautiful fresh cranberries. And we put them in the water and turn on the burner to low. And thank you. Let's see if I can get this. No, you better help me do that.
Okay. Let's see.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
High or medium?
Medium. And if you've never worked with fresh cranberries before, I'll just turn that up a little bit. They're in water. And you just let it simmer till the skins of the cranberries pop. And you can actually hear them popping. So this is going to be going on. This will take, approximately 10 minutes. And now, Diksha, why don't you talk about cashew
Okay,
gravy?
meanwhile you can move the,
Okay.
maybe I have to turn this for you. You said about medium. Okay, turn this off. Thank you. So the cashew gravy, I'm going to saute, as you can see, minced onion. This is about 1 medium onion in a 1/3 cup of butter. And after it's golden, I will add about 1/3 of a cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I will stir it in. And this is cashew. This is raw cashew grounded, 1 1/4 cup. And cashews are packed with minerals, vitamins, and they're very good for healthy bones. So after I'm going to do this, I have boiled 4 cups of water, and I will mix it with vegetable broth. And this is 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon. And then I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of tamari, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a little bit of black pepper. I'll bring it to a boil, simmer it, and when it's done, I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. So why not get started and turn the skillet, put in the butter. It's nice and soft. Okay, put this, add the onions, let the butter melt and be mixed with the onion. So we'll wait a little bit for that. I don't want to put the heat too high because the butter can burn easily. And meanwhile, I will bring the 4 cups of water. I boiled in the kettle, and we'll put 4 cups here. And Davy, why don't you mix in the vegetable broth? Put this aside. Don't need it now. Butter is melting. And we have ground, as I said, the cashews, and we'll mix it in. And after this is golden, I will very slowly have to stand here and mix it for about 3 minutes. I think I will have to bring one more piece in, equipment. I'm going to actually whisk in the flour and the cashews. So I'm going to let it be for a moment. And we'll wait.
How do you grind the cashews?
You can do it in a blender. It's very easy. You just have to be careful. It's a good question. Not to overdo it, because otherwise it starts to release oil and it's become too sticky. So you have to pulse it a little bit until it finally ground.
These are beautiful, just real crumbly.
This is great. This is ready. Everything is good. You want to check your cranberries? So nice to do it with someone.
For these holiday menus, you know, so often you'll have friends and family over, and it's cooking with a friend is just, it's one of the funnest things for me. I just love it. And it's just such a, your friendship gets imbued into the food.
So we'll wait for a few minutes and we'll continue.
You know, this cashew gravy is such a wonderful addition, because when you go to, last Thanksgiving, I went to a big family gathering and we brought our nut loaf, but I didn't have gravy because they only had the meat gravy. So it's nice to have this.
So you have to bring that too?
You have to bring that too, yeah. But it's amazing how many people are getting to be vegetarians these days, or at least interested.
Let's see how this is doing. This is yours, this is mine. It's happening. The butter smells great.
And the cranberries are great.
And if you cannot have butter, it's fine. You can just use oil. Wait a little bit longer until they turn golden. But as I said, I don't want to turn the heat too high because it's very easy to burn the butter. So you let it do its thing and we'll wait.
Now, with cranberries, the reason you need to let them pop is they have a natural pectin, a natural gel-like substance. And so by letting them pop and then cool, that's what forms a thing that, a dish that holds together. It isn't just runny like the little individual cranberries.
So do you have to mix it once in a while?
Yeah, I'm stirring it just to make sure that...
Okay, they all get...
Yeah, but can you smell the wonderful cranberry fragrance?
Wow, it's incredible. It's very strong, very fresh.
Yeah, and it's, of course, cranberries are one of the best sources of vitamin C. So how are our onions doing?
It's happening.
Oh,
I think it's ready. This is yours. I keep
Here,
forgetting.
I'll put it on this side so you can
Okay.
get confused.
So this is looking good. I'm going to move this so you can see. Now, I'll mix it in.
Okay, I'll help you if you need.
Okay, why don't we start with the... Here we go. Mix that in. Turn the heat down so you won't burn because you don't have a lot of liquid here. Why don't you please mix the, It's great, wonderful.
One of the things about getting a real consistent gravy with flour and butter is that, as you can see, Diksha is using her whisk, and you just can't you have to pay attention to it constantly. You can't do other things while you're making gravy, otherwise it'll clump up or scorch, and you don't get a nice, rich, smooth gravy.
I think it's done. I think I can add the liquid now.
What do you think? You
It
think
looks
so?
good.
Yeah. Okay. So the
'Cause I-
tamari?
I think first
Oh,
you...
the broth.
The broth. This got stuck a little bit here. Okay, why don't you just pour it slowly? Great. Okay.
I wish you all could share this meal with us. It's going to be so good.
You are sharing it with us.
But eating it.
You have to use more your imagination. Okay. Ooh, have to go slower.
Should I stop for a minute? and
Chop
change
them
it?
on. I think these are getting there. Why don't you take care of them? Okay.
A little bit more on these.
No, I think I will need, let's see if I can do it with this. Got stuck a little bit here. Okay, this is good. I think, let's see if I can, need a little bit to use, using the spoon. Okay.
That's for our yams.
I think they
Want
will
me to
live.
take them out?
Why don't you just look at them?
Okay.
You don't need to take them out. Okay. So I will add the tamari and quarter teaspoon. If you like more garlicky, you can add more, but for now we'll start with this.
Looks like the tamari gives it a nice brown color.
Yes, earthy color. Go back into the whisk.
Beautiful.
And the pepper.
So just do a
Yeah,
little,
please.
tell me when.
I think that's good. You always want to start with less, and you can always add more. So now what we'll do is I bring it to a boil, and then simmer it, turn it down to a low heat, and simmer it until it thickens. And then I will put it in a pot and blend it.
Meanwhile,
This
our
is done.
cranberries are done. So I turn the heat off, and I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of honey. And
Move this
if you,
here.
honey, if you have a problem with sugar, diabetic, or hard time with your glycemic index, you can substitute granulated xylitol instead of the honey.
Great idea. To put this.
We're going to just let this cool for a while now before we add our other ingredients.
So this is going to get into a boil.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, see how it's becoming more and more earthy color?
If you're worried
That
about
smells.
the yams, they're okay. They're in the oven, and they haven't.
They're waiting.
They're waiting.
I think I might look at them now. Looks great, but I think,
I think they can go a little more.
yeah.
Do you want me to set
Yeah.
the timer? How
Yeah.
long?
Just put it for another 5.
Okay, we have 5 more minutes for our yams. So look how much we've done already. We have our nut loaf is done, our gravy is almost done, our cranberry sauce is almost done, and
We'll cover this.
we have just a few more dishes to do to complete. And Diksha made this wonderful non-dairy, non-sugar, non-gluten pumpkin pie yesterday, so we already have that done too.
Okay, so we will wait now. So the cashew gravy is done. You see, it got thickened, and it took about 10 minutes. So you have to stand here patiently, you can pray while you're doing this. And the yams, I think they're done, and I'll bring it up for you to see.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Here they are, smelling great. We can turn off the oven. Okay, and I want to show you. Okay, see, they are done.
And they're nice
Very-
and golden.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Okay, so I think we'll put it in the back and finish the cashew gravy. So, Devi, would you help me? Thank you. Here we go. Leave them here and move into the gravy. You can have the gravy the way it is, but if you like it a more smooth texture, I like to do it with a hand blender. This is the invention of modern time, and you can definitely do it in a blender if you don't have a hand blender, but I'm going to use the hand blender instead of a regular blender. Okay, so take that. I'm going to take the gravy, put it into the pot.
It's a beautiful golden brown color.
And I can see the pieces in there. I think it's nice either way, to have it smooth or to have it a little bit more textured.
But because we kept stirring, there aren't any gravy or nut clumps, but I think it's more the onions that
Yes,
you can...
I think so. Okay, let me see. I tilt it. Okay, let's see. This. No, it
Do you want me
takes
to get
two people to do that.
Do you want me to get a spatula and we can just...
Yeah,
scrape it?
the rest of it. Here we go. Okay.
Spatulas are also one of the great inventions for cooking. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So I will take this, and it's hot, so I'm going to use underneath it this, and get that going. It does help. It looks beautiful. Okay, so I think we can just leave it here.
Okay, let's put it
And
on the counter.
let me, before I dish it, I'm going to try it. Want to try it too?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to bring another spoon? It's hot.
Really good.
Delicious. I don't think it needs anything.
No, I wouldn't. add
We're just
anything.
going to add a little bit parsley. Let me just first. Here we go.
This is such a beautiful little gravy boat.
A little garnished with parsley. This is it. Enjoy.
Beautiful. So now we're going to finish off our cranberry sauce. Remember, we were boiling it, and we let it boil for about 10 minutes, and then we let it cool off for about 10 minutes. And now we're going to start adding other things. We're going to add a cup of grated unsweetened coconut, a half a cup of coarsely chopped walnuts, and then 4 oranges, which have been peeled and seeded and then skinned and then diced. And we're going to add all these, but this is a skill I don't have. Diksha's going to show us how you skin orange segments. So first we'll go ahead and add all these. It's not cooking anymore, so we just added a cup of coconut, half a cup of walnuts, and we'll add, this is 3 oranges which she prepped earlier, which have been skinned and seeded. And now she's going to focus on this wonderful talent of
We'll
seeding.
see if it works right now. So here's the orange. So if you're just peeling peeling the orange, this is how it's going to look like. But you're trying to also peel the skin. So we go a little bit deeper, just a little bit more so you can see all the segmentation of the orange, you see? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we do the other side. So I rather start less and go too far, just a little bit more. Here we go. Then you have a flat surface to work with. So you put it like this, and with the knife, go around. And so I did it deliberately here. You see, I'm trying to get also the white part. So I go a little bit deeper all around. Okay, so, and whatever I didn't do right, I'll have to do some touch-up. Okay, so this is the quickest way that I found to peel and take off the skin of the orange. So I'll move this, and with a little paring knife, if you like, depends how perfect you want it, you can take that off. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now I'll move this. So I hold it this way. People do it differently. You can even put it on the counter. And I'll just go in with the segments. Here we go. So again.
So you're leaving.
Yes.
That's the
wall.
skin, the wall.
I don't know. I call it the wall of the
Incredible.
orange. Here we go. So just go around this. You can do it in a meditative way. A little bit deeper.
Now, when I've made this before,
Yeah.
I haven't done it this way, but then you get the tough skins of the orange, which aren't so nice. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a big improvement on that.
Okay. Last, I think this is the last one.
Yeah.
So here we go. Now, do you need extra juice? So you don't need to throw this away. If we can use it for this, or we can save this and then squeeze it into a bowl and have the juice, because there's still plenty of juice in the leftover orange. So
I don't think we need more for this,
Okay.
but let's see after we mix it all together.
now you wanted it, so this is one way to do it. Okay, but she wanted it more diced.
Diced.
So I'll take all of them and just cut them.
Oh, this is going to be wonderful.
So here we go.
So go ahead. Now we'll this is the last thing we need to add to our
This.
our festive cranberry sauce. And I'm going to mix it up. Well, I'm going to show you because it's so pretty. It's got the cranberry juice turns the coconut pink, and then you have your nice bright red cranberries and the oranges, and then the walnuts give it a nice crunch and a
Now
bite.
bring the bowl.
And now, yeah, we're going to put it in a bowl, and it will get you. This needs to chill for, I would say 2 hours. So this is a good dish to make the night before.
It's beautiful, full colors.
Yeah. So we're going to put it in this bowl, and then we'll just put it in the fridge till we're ready to eat.
Beautiful.
And
Great.
it'll get a little bit thicker as it sits because of the pectin in the cranberry. So there we have
Beautiful.
our festive cranberry salad.
So now we have the last two dishes. I'm going to start by steaming the green beans, which are about 4 cups fresh green beans cut in halves. And then Davy will prepare the mashed potatoes. And then I will finish with the vinaigrette for the green beans, and Davy will do the final touch on the mashed potatoes. So the water is boiling. I'm going to use a steamer. And let's put this here. Thank you for your help. Okay. Put this here. Turn the heat down. And now it's boiling. I'll put the timer for about 5 minutes.
now we're going to start the mashed potatoes, which we've already peeled. We have, for about 6 to 8 people, we have 4 russet potatoes peeled and cubed in rather large cubes because we're going to cook them in Diksha's wonderful new pressure cooker, which she's going to show us how to use. And we'll cook them for about 5 minutes too. So I can just go ahead and put it in.
Yeah.
And then you can lock the lid in.
Okay.
Whenever I lock the lid on my pressure cooker, I always say lock and load, lock and load.
All right. So, Debbie, you want to see it?
Yeah.
So you line this line here, then this is it.
Wow.
Lock here. I'm going to do the high. There are 2 levels that you can bring to a boil. I'm going to do the high heat, and I'm going to move it to the side. Turn it on. Once it comes to a full steam, then I'll turn the heat down, and we'll time it to 5 minutes.
Great.
Now we'll continue with the green beans. Would you mind bringing me the skillet? Thank you. First turn it on. Start by sauteing it's a 1 medium onion chopped, and this is about 1/4 cup of olive oil. It's a little oily here. When I just take care of that,
Okay.
So it won't spill. And I will wait for it to heat a little bit, and then I will saute the onions until they are golden. And then I will make the little vinaigrette that we have here, lemon juice, and I have to remember how much the lemon juice.
3
and
tablespoons.
3 tablespoons. I mean, I'll put it right here. And this is 1½ teaspoon of dried marjoram. Thank you. And about 1/2 cup of minced parsley. So this will be the vinaigrette for the green beans. I love smelling all the fresh herbs. It's a little lemony.
Ooh, wonderful.
Now we can put, still not hot enough, so give it a wait a little bit.
Meanwhile, our
Yes.
potatoes, we're waiting for the pressure cooker to come up to high pressure to cook the potatoes.
Not
and
yet.
the string beans are steaming. We're not pressure cookering the string beans. But you know, for Diksha actually was the one who introduced me to pressure cooker cooking. And
That was 15 years ago.
Oh my goodness. And I think I've used my pressure cooker virtually every day that I've been home since then. So it is such an incredible time-saving device.
So this is ready. Coating the onions. I like to add a little bit, I know that, Celtic salt, because it helps to bring the sweetness
I
out.
didn't know that.
Yes, out of the onion and soften them. It's about medium heat. Do you usually cover when you saute, or do you leave it open?
Well, you get a different result. If you
Yeah.
want them crispier, your onions, you don't cover them. If you want them a little more moist, and which we probably do for the vinaigrette,
agree.
I think we want to cover them.
I agree. Here we are.
And
We're in
that was
agreement.
not staged. That was spontaneous.
Okay, let's look at the green beans. I'll use a tongue. It's nice to turn them around. After all, there are 4 cups, so they're all going to be nice, steam evenly. Okay, wonderful. Still waiting for a pressure cooker to come to a full.
Oh, That's our string beans.
I think it might need just a little bit. Time goes really fast. I think I'm going to leave them for about another minute, and then we'll turn them off, and I will put them in the bowl, my fall bowl that a good friend of mine from Sedona gave me, and then we'll mix in the parsley vinaigrette, and would you hand me the, and then we garnish with slivered almonds.
Are they toasted or just regular?
It's nice to toast them,
yes,
because they give a nice crunch.
Yeah.
So I like to toast them first. So I think this is done. Let's have the, here we go.
Beautiful.
Nice.
To perfection.
Green beans. Put in. We're still waiting for one thing, the onion.
The onions, yeah.
So I'll move this first side. Here we go. And let's see how this is happening.
Beautiful. The thing I love about Diksha's cooking is it's really a fusion of the best of healthy cooking and then what she's learned from all different traditions. And I don't want to embarrass her because she's my friend, but she's really created a style of cooking that's, I think, unique. And, you know, I'm so glad we're creating these videos that everybody can learn how to cook this way, because it's, I don't think other people in the world really have discovered this way of cooking.
Thank you.
Well, I mean it.
So we'll wait a few more minutes and let's check the pressure cooker. We're still waiting. There's a lot of potatoes, and then we'll finish it up. So I'm going to check the onions for the green beans.
Oh, beautiful.
I think it's done.
Yeah, lovely.
Turn it off. So I will mix this with the green beans. I already added the rest of the ingredients. It's nice to have also the oil, because I didn't add any oil to the vinaigrette, only lemon juice and margarine. All right, beautiful. Leave this here.
Okay.
And just mix this.
Oh, that looks beautiful. Now, what about sautéing with olive oil?
I tend not to saute usually, but I try to do it with low heat. I usually keep the sauteing with more sunflower or sesame oil, because the olive oil is much more sensitive to heat. So,
but because we're creating a marinade here, we want to, a vinaigrette, excuse
yes,
me, we want to have the...
So I think this is it. And before serving, I can just put now a little bit toasted slivered almonds.
And how did you know when the string beans were finished, Diksha?
Good point. They still have to be tender and crisp, and the color is bright. So that's the sign.
Beautiful.
Okay, let me check on the pressure cooker. Still waiting for it to come to a full boil. So the green bean dish is almost ready. Just adding the salt. I usually just sprinkle a little bit on top. A little bit fresh ground black pepper. Mix it in. Ooh, I can smell the black pepper. It's so strong, fresh. Here we are. Before we serve, I will add a little bit more slivered almonds. So I'll move this.
I can take that for you.
Move it here. Pressure cooker came to a full boil. I'm going to turn it down. Put the timer for 5 minutes. And it will be done. So Davy, what are you going to do? when this is ready.
Okay, that's good. There are a number of ways you can prepare mashed potatoes after we cooking them so they're nice and almost crumbly. Some people I've seen use the hand mixer that Diksha used, but actually I don't recommend that method because it makes the potatoes gummy. I've actually read articles about it that it breaks down the molecular structure of the potatoes in such a way that they actually become gummy. So I recommend one of two methods, either the old traditional
I have it. I'll
masher, okay, which Diksha's going to grab out of her drawer,
if I can find it.
or the method that I actually prefer, even though it's a little more work, is what's called a ricer, where you just spoon your well-cooked potatoes in there, and it's sort of like you press them through there, and they come out. This maybe isn't such a good image, but you'll see when we do it, like little worms coming out. But it gives a really consistent, creamy texture to your mashed potatoes, where the just mashing with the traditional masher will give you sometimes lumpy. So I really prefer this way. And then after they're mashed, what we'll do is we've already warmed our milk. This is a step, you don't have to do it, but if you add cold milk to potatoes, it cools off the temperature. So if you're, and this is the last dish we'll be doing. So if you warm your milk, this is 1 cup of milk to 4 large russet. We'll add that. Then we'll add 1/4 cup of cubed butter, and it's warm. And then our salt and pepper to taste, and we'll mix all that up. And then we'll garnish with a little bit of the parsley that we had left over.
Great.
So now we have cooked the potatoes in the pressure cooker for 5 minutes. We've allowed the pressure to come down, the safety release. So now Diksha's going to open the pressure cooker and drain the potatoes in a colander, and then we'll begin our process. Beautiful.
Here they are, well cooked. So it took about 10 minutes or so to cool it down before we can open it. So I will take it, I'll drain it, and meanwhile you're going to show them something.
Yes, this is the old traditional potato masher that we probably all grew up with. Our parents used these. And you can see the holes in it are, quite big. And so you're going to get, by using this, you get a mashed potato that's can have some lumps in it, which, it's not that bad. But by using the ricer, you'll really be surprised at the fluffy, light texture you get with the potatoes that way. Thank you, Diksha. So, and you can buy these potato ricers. You can also use them for other things too, for tomatoes and so forth. But so they're just called vegetable ricers. And
can I help you?
Yeah, you can just put we want to fill the ricer about, that's good, about 2/3 fill. And then you simply, it's not drained enough, a
little water.
Yeah, a little water. But you can see how it comes out so nice and fluffy. And then what you need to do is you need to have a knife. And I'll show you. It gets a little stuck in there, so you scrape it around, and then we can add more.
Is it too much?
No, it's fine.
Okay. There will be a little water, but it's okay. You needed a bowl that is higher walls. Okay, this is beautiful.
Okay. So we'll just continue now ricing the rest of these potatoes, and then we'll finish adding all the other ingredients. So Diksha and I have finished ricing all the potatoes, and you can see how nice and fluffy they are. Now we'll do the traditional things that we add. We have a cup of warm milk, 1/4 cup of room temperature butter, and some salt and pepper to taste. So now we have a cup for 4 large russet, but you have to kind of do it by sight because the potatoes will absorb water at different amounts. So just start adding.
Just a little bit first?
Yeah, a little bit at a time. And And then we start mixing it
I see.
down, because you don't, there's nothing as as demoralizing of a Thanksgiving dinner as runny mashed potatoes. So yeah,
More?
we need a little bit more. Okay, good. Now let's add our butter before
Whole?
we add any more.
Okay, the
Yeah,
whole thing?
Yeah, I think the whole thing will be all right. Good, because that'll give us some, as that melts, that gives it some liquid too.
Mm-hmm.
And then why don't you go ahead and add a little salt and pepper. No,
No,
add a little
not
salt
yet.
and pepper, because then that'll be all mixed in.
Mm-hmm. How much? Just like
Yeah,
a little bit
that's
more?
good. A little bit more.
Okay.
And of course, this is to taste too. Some people are on low sodium diets and they don't like to add a lot of salt, and a little pepper. And we're using fresh ground black pepper, but you can also use, that's probably good, for a more delicate flavor, ground white pepper. And you don't see it in there because it just dissolves, but it's it has a lighter flavor. Okay, I think we need just a little more milk, not a lot more. And you can see we haven't used much milk.
Incredible. So let's see, how much did we use? We used about half a cup.
Yeah,
It's great.
because, you know, for mashed potatoes, one of the main purposes is
It's
to be
beautiful.
a gravy catch-all. So if they're too runny, they won't hold their shape. What do you think? That looks good to
It
me.
looks beautiful.
And by ricing them, I'm going to hold this up so you all
It's
can see.
incredible.
You just get a nice smooth texture.
And then at the end,
Yeah,
before
let me
we
just-
serve, you want to
I'll
add it
just-
now?
Yeah, let me just smooth this out, and then you can go ahead and
Great.
add the parsley garnish.
Okay.
Oh,
That's great.
beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful. So there you are.
That's great. Thank you, Davy. That was wonderful.
We had so much fun. But there's one last thing now, and that's serving and eating. So we're going to move on to that.
So this is our Thanksgiving meal. It was such a pleasure to do it together with Davy. It was delightful. So enjoy it. That was my gift for Thanksgiving, to do it with her. And as you can see, this beautiful runner is made by my friend Cheryl Schaefer. She's a master in quilting. And just wanted to say a few words before you eat. Maybe you would like to start with a prayer of gratitude. And throughout the meal and while you socialize, maybe you would like to radiate gratitude to your friends and family and to God for all the blessings in your life. So we'll end by Davy sharing, guiding us through a beautiful affirmation for gratitude by Swami Kriyananda.
I give thanks to the giver behind each gift and to the one giver behind everything that I receive.